AD need LeBron to become a Laker great?
Well, listen, you're going to need LeBron to some degree because LeBron's going to be the one handling the ball. He's the best passer in basketball if we're really, really being honest about it. So we've got to take that into consideration. But, when we talk about Anthony Davis in terms of an all-time great Laker, let's take into account Laker lore. Let's think about Irvin Magic Johnson. Let's think about Kobe Bryant. Let's think about the most dominant force of our lifetime in Shaquille O'Neal. Let's think about one of the greatest champions that we've ever seen and the leading scorer in the history of basketball. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They were all Lakers. And so when we talk about Anthony Davis, make no mistake, he's one of the top 5 players on the planet. He's a superstar. I think that him and LeBron James are the best duo in basketball. But when we talk about Anthony Davis needing LeBron or anybody else to become a Lakers great, well, you could make the argument he's already a Lakers great because he's great and he's a Laker. But if you're trying to compare him to some of the all-timers, Anthony Davis, no matter how great he is, he ain't going to eclipse at least 2 or 3 of those brothers that I mentioned.
Anthony Davis needs LeBron James to become a Laker great because, unlike any other franchise, on the Lakers, you must win a championship. And do you know why you must win a championship? Because you can't go back-to-back without the first one. And you know why you got to go back-to-back? Because with no back-to-back, there's no three-peat, a term Pat Riley coined for the Lakers, although his Lakers never won 3 in a row. They won 5 altogether. Later on, Shaq and Kobe did, and then Kobe very nearly did it again. Look, Charles Barkley and many others are pointed to as examples of great players and why there's a whole contingent of people out there, and this is like a flashpoint for this kind of debate in sports, especially in the NBA. Do you need a championship to somehow legitimize yourself as a great player, as among the greatest ever? And for many franchises, you don't. You compete. It just didn't work out. That's not the Lakers. It's just not the Lakers. Stephen A., the Mount Rushmore of the Lakers, that's an exercise in editing. On a lot of franchises, like the Clippers, if you talked about a Mount Rushmore, you'd be like, how do we get 4 guys up on there? With the Lakers, it's like, who do you leave off of this thing? Because Kareem, Magic, Kobe, and Shaq, maybe? How do you leave Jerry West, the logo, off, who did what he did as a player and then as an executive? How do you leave Wilt Chamberlain off, maybe the most dominant force of all time? Forget about guys like James Worthy and Pau Gasol, who are Hall of Fame caliber players, right? It is impossible with the Lakers. And why are some guys on and some guys off? Stephen A., Wilt and Jerry West didn't win enough championships. That's why they're not on as players. The Lakers' Mount Rushmore. To be called a Laker great is not simply to be a great player who also happened to play on the Lakers. It's to win championships in L.A. And AD, as great as he is, has never sniffed it. Not that he was part of a great organization, but he's never sniffed it. He needs LeBron, a champion who knows how to get it done, a guy still operating on a very high level where they can be crime partners to become champions. And if Anthony Davis wins championships, at least one, but multiple championships in L.A., then he is a Laker great, and he'll start making his case for the Lakers' Mount Rushmore.
Well, you're not wrong, but as usual, you're incomplete. Because if Anthony Davis needs LeBron James because of the things that you just mentioned, then LeBron James needs Anthony Davis for the same reason. Because we're not talking about all-time great. We're talking about Lakers great. You're talking about right now a 3-time champion who has been to 9 NBA Finals. He's not even in the discussion on the Mount Rushmore of Lakers lore because LeBron James 1 year in L.A., he didn't even make the playoffs. And so the fact of the matter is that they need each other for the same exact reasons. We can't put that on Anthony Davis like, oh, he needs LeBron. LeBron needs him desperately, too. Not to mention the fact that LeBron's time is running out. His basketball mortality is going to come to an end much sooner than later compared to Anthony Davis simply by age, attrition, and dust on a birth certificate. So what it comes down to is you look at LeBron James, you could say the same thing about him that you're saying about Anthony Davis, but when you talk about Anthony Davis, his level of greatness as a talent is comparable to anybody. You're right in terms of what he needs to accomplish, and obviously being on the court with LeBron James is going to provide the assistance that's needed. But I don't think there's a shot that LeBron and Anthony Davis ends up in Lakers lore to that degree. Because when you talk about Kobe, when you talk about Shaq, when you talk about Magic, when you talk about Kareem, you're talking about at least 3 championships in a Lakers uniform. I mean, you could compare them to Jerry West, the silhouette, who's got one, Wilt Chamberlain, who had one with them. You can do that. But when you talk about those other 4 guys that I mentioned, excuse me, I don't know how you get to that discussion